This is Happiness Solved with America's happiness coach, Sandee Sgarlata.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today. I'm so happy you're here. Happiness Solved is the place where we explore everything you need to become the best possible version of you. This is Sandee Sgarlata, and today I've got some exciting news for our dedicated listeners. We've just launched our exclusive members-only portal. This is your ticket to a world of additional content designed to deepen your understanding and engagement with the Happiness Solved mission. To learn more about all of the exciting benefits, stay tuned until the end of the episode where I will explain in greater detail. For those interested now, head over to happinesssolved.supercast.com. Today is another amazing conversation, so let's get started. Carey Conley, it's such a pleasure to meet you. And thank you so much for being here today. So excited for this conversation.
I'm honored to be here because I know you have quite the wait list. So thank you.
Helps when you know the right people, right?
Yes, it does. It really does.
And it's great because we have a mutual friend, colleague, and that's really awesome. But I love that you have been helping entrepreneurs with finding their vision for more than 21 years, because what you have found is that without a clear, big vision, right, people are never able to make it past their fears and stepping out of their comfort zone, fear of failing, fear of success. Love it, love it, love it. So
Right.
critical. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, the whole backstory to this, Sandy, is when I was in my late 20s, which was quite a while ago.
Not that long, but okay.
Well, quite a while ago, girl. I turned 61 this year, so this was a while ago. You know, I was doing the 9 to 5, get the job, work your way up the ranks kind of thing, and I wasn't loving it. So I had a mentor, a woman who came into my life, and for the first time was told that, you know, you can create your life to look like however you want it to look. You just have to be super clear on what that is. And so with her encouragement, I took a day off of work, and with a legal pad of paper, I wrote out very clearly what I wanted my life to look like. You know, the relationships I wanted to have, what kind of mom I wanted to be, the leader I wanted to become. I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur once we started having kids. So I noodled a bunch of ideas around that, not knowing really the direction I was going to go. And out of the blue, I wrote that someday I thought I might want to teach how to write vision like this on paper for other people. Not knowing what was coming in my life, Sandee. So I stepped into being an entrepreneur and built a really big team in the network marketing industry while raising my kids. And the very first thing I had to teach these women was how to have a really big why, a vision that was just bigger than anything to get through, you know, the rejection, all the things. So I've been doing this for quite a while in a lot of different ways.
I love that, because if you don't have your why, and not just in business, but every single aspect of your life, you have to know your why, because that's to me, like my why is the gasoline that drives the engine. That is everything that I do.
That's right. That's exactly right. Even on the day you don't want to, right?
That's right.
I told people there were so many days I wanted to quit that first business, so many days. But the reason I kept at it every single day was that my why was bigger than whatever I was facing, whether it was fear, whether it was rejection. You know, my family thought I was nuts for leaving the 9 to 5 thing to go into network marketing in the late 80s, right? To sell lipstick.
Was it Mary Kay?
No, I was in Arbonne.
Oh, Arbonne. Okay.
Yeah. I still am. I built to the top rank of the company, had a really big team, did all the trips, all the things. It was just that about 10 or 12 years ago, I thought at this point in our life, we had raised our 2 kids and we'd become empty nesters. And I thought, you know, I'm kind of ready to like spread my wings a little bit. So I created some curriculum around how to write vision on paper, and I started doing little workshops. And those little workshops turned into mostly women coming to me that were wanting to have their own business that didn't have a vision, you know, so I would bring them into coaching to help them with that. And then I would bring them into a year-long business mastermind to help them with all the things. But unfortunately, during that time that was ramping up, I lost my husband in 2014 to suicide. And then 3 years later, lost my 25-year-old son, also to suicide. So it became a whole different mission of why vision became so important, right? Now I'm on a trajectory of wanting to launch a community for young adults, because they're struggling, and that's no secret. Most of us know that. I'm just feeling really called to help them. So yeah, it will get you through. People ask me, how are you doing all this? And the reason I'm doing it is because the mission is bigger, right? So yeah, I'm really, really passionate right now about vision being this anchor of hope for people.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you told me about that very briefly when we started, before we hit record. And I was like, thank you for sharing that, because I have one son, and it's every parent's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how you can talk about this, because I'm like about ready to bawl my eyes out right now. And
Don't start. We're both going down. So
I know.
don't start.
It's just like, but like, how do you move on from that? Not just one, but two.
Yeah. A lot of faith. I am very, very certain of where they both are right now. So I've leaned on that heavily, lean on God heavily. I'm very, very clear that they are guiding me through this mission, especially my son. So it's just, it's not an overnight thing, Sandee. I kind of went underground for about a year, especially after my son passed. I kept working with the clients that I already was committed to, but I stopped kind of bringing the new ones on, so that I could, just go inward for a little while. So I did a lot of personal healing work. Then I started, the other thing that happened for me that has helped me a lot is I started having all these very spiritual, intuitive type people randomly show up in my life, Sandee. And they would bring me messages from the other side, especially again for my son, who I believe had that gift as well. And they actually were the ones who gave me the most hope. And they still are. I still reach out to them when I feel like, okay, I need a little bit more guidance right now. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's been 6 years now since my son passed and 9 years since my husband. So it's been, I've been on this journey for a while.
Yeah.
So, and I continue to heal with communities that I'm in, doing my own work, and launching this young adult thing has been, like I said, a big mission for me.
Yeah.
My own podcast I launched a year ago called Moving Through and Beyond. I bring guests on that have been through some sort of major trauma of their own in their life. Most of them very successful, very public people that are willing to share their story and how they got through it, which has been amazing. Like you.
Well, and well, thank you. That would help. That would help you
for sure
to talk to other people. I mean, that's why we're having, that's why I launched my podcast, and why we have these conversations, because not only does it help me, but I know that there's got to be many people that are going to listen to this that are going to be touched by what you have to say, and it gives them hope. And that's what it's all about, so that we can collectively help raise the consciousness of the planet, because it takes a village. It takes a lot of people to help all of us get through everything that we're dealing with.
Exactly right. And unfortunately, especially in the young adult community, isolation and loneliness is at an all-time high, like record high. And there's lots of reasons for that. But we do need to be talking more to each other. We need to be really checking in more with each other on a regular basis, like we never have. And not assume that just because somebody looks like they've got it all together, that they don't have a story or they're not struggling, because that's just not true. We're all working through something on some scale in our life.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's nobody out there that is unscathed at any point in time. We all have childhood trauma. We all have certain things that we deal with on a daily basis. Sometimes big curveballs hit us, sometimes little ones, but you can't get through this world, especially in today's world, without some sort of,
Yeah.
I'm from a baseball family, so I say curveball, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So true. Um, so when I say young adult, I'm talking, early 20s to early 30s. And the reason that I'm so pulled towards that age group is because I kind of feel like there's a gap of not enough help for them right now. I think there's been a lot of focus most recently on teens and kids in school,
Yes.
suicide prevention, suicide awareness, but not so much for the kids that are coming out, starting their lives, going to college or starting their
Yeah.
jobs, getting in relationships. They'll be the first to tell you, because they tell me that they're drifting and they're not happy and they don't know what to do about it.
Well, and I think there's also, you've got so many people that are, you should do this or you should do that, right?
Yeah.
And college isn't for everybody.
Right.
So you
Right.
have a group of kids who have been told that they're supposed to go to college, but that may not be what they want. And they end up in college and they end up miserable because this is not what they want to be doing. That's
Exactly.
just one simple example. There's just so much being thrown at these kids these days. And a, a friend of mine, well, they were neighbors of mine. This was about a month or so ago. Her youngest boy took his own life.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a real big wake up call for us. I haven't seen them in probably 10 years because they moved across country, but it was somebody that my son grew up with. And it was really devastating, because I think that's the first person, thank God, that he had any sort of relationship with that went through that. And it's hard. It's really hard.
It is hard. And, it hit me the other day that when I was talking to my team about, okay, what exactly are we going to be doing with these young adults inside the community? And I told them, of course, obviously, I want to work with them on vision, purpose, having a game plan for their life, creating it the way they want to create it. But they're also struggling with a lot. Two things that are keeping them up at night right now: money, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of them are coming into this adult world, their adulting years with a lot of debt. Not a great way to start your life, and they're not, and not knowing how to manage money. And the other thing is relationships, struggling with having healthy relationships and boundaries around the relationships they're in. But the other thing that hit me, Sandee, was that they also, I think, because of what's happening in our world, are struggling with a lot of grief. Mm-hmm. I don't know that any of them probably has not been touched by suicide or losing a pal, or a schoolmate or something. So I thought, wow, we're going to have to integrate that in as well. And certainly that was not a thing for me when I was coming out of school. But I think it's unfortunately a big part of their life now.
Well, yeah, for sure. It really is. Yeah. And I think it's just, every child has their own journey. I was actually grateful that my son got through high school without any of his friends dying, because when I was in high school, I probably lost 4 or 5 people when I was in high school. Yeah. And it was mostly car accidents, Okay. And so I was like so relieved when he graduated from high school. I was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness he didn't have to experience that, because it's just so awful. But now he had a whole other set of issues, right? Sure. So, right, they're always going through something. So they're not getting out unscathed. But that's really amazing that you're starting that community. And I'm doing something very similar, but for athletes, to work on mindset. And I'm making it for teenagers and young adult athletes, because they're not being taught any of that either. Like, so it's just, there's all these gaps that need to be filled in because our education system is not doing it.
Right.
Whether you're paying for education or not, whether it's public or private, you are not getting these life skills that you and I have come to make part of our fabric and part of our being.
Right.
And they need these skills more than ever.
They do. I have 2 grandsons now, 8 months and 3 years old.
Oh.
And my daughter now is filling out forms for the 3-year-old to go into a very nice private school here, a Christian school, which is lovely, because both my kids were blessed to be able to do that most of their life. But I'm still looking at her going, still not enough.
Yeah.
Right. We're not, the educational system has not caught up with how our world is now.
No.
And there's got to, so it's hard for me because I'm the grandma and I have to kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
She reminds me all the time, you're not the mom, you're not the mom. And I trust that they're making the best decisions for him, but I also do let her know, and she knows because we talk about this a lot, that there's just a lot missing right now, and emotional intelligence and how to deal with relationships. It's just a different world.
Well, it really is. And I feel like, they say that for children, anytime you have like a traumatic event happen, there can be times that's when your emotional development stops functioning. Right. And I know that was the case for my son. And so I did as best as I could to instill a lot of these things in him, because then he had, life totally changed 2 weeks after his 13th birthday. And then he wouldn't listen to me for a number of years. When now he's 23 and he's finally like calling and wanting to have 20-30 minute conversations with me where we talk about life. And this is what we used to do when he was little.
Yeah.
So, but you've got that, you got to get them when they're young and plant those seeds.
Yeah.
Yes, but even so, they still are like sponges at that young age, because they still haven't been, destroyed by people and society and all of that. So because I want to, excuse me, be respectful of your time.
Yeah.
Because I know you have another interview coming up. I want to talk about when you get a new client as a woman that comes to you and they want help with their vision. Can you give the audience just a couple of steps, maybe like 3 steps, things that they need to think about when they start wanting to create that vision and their why?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for asking, because this is my sweet spot. And this is what I've taught to thousands of people. And before we end here, I'm going to give a gift of a workbook, a free downloadable workbook.
Oh, nice.
And so that people can do this. But here's the process I work people through. Number one, understanding that when you have a crystal clear vision in writing, not rolling around up here, in writing, and I'm going to tell you in a minute how to write it, and you have targeted dates on things you're working towards, it can fix just about everything you're struggling with in your life right now. Especially if you are wanting to launch a business or running a business, it will help you make way better decisions with your time and your money and where you're spending it with. It will help you craft a monetizing business instead of running a really expensive hobby, which most people do. It's leadership. You can't lead or influence anybody if you don't have a powerful vision that you can convey to everybody where you're going. It will be that anchor in all the storms. Like I said earlier, on the days you want to quit or life just really gets tough, like it has for me, it's going to help pull you through. So you need to understand that before you do anything, you have to have this clear vision written, right? Second thing is you need to take a day like I did, maybe not a whole day, but a good hour or 2 in total quiet time. Get away from the phones, get away from your family, get away from everybody, and get out a journal and date it at the top as if it's 3 years from that day. And then after you put that date, write how old you will be 3 years out and how old your family members will be. Because time and aging is non-negotiable, right? It's coming. And 3 years sneaks up like that. And a lot of people, when I get to, especially women who have kids, when they look at what 3 years looks like and how old they're going to be and how old their kids are going to be, they're like, oh, okay, there's some shifts coming. And so I get them to sit down and write out in every area of their life what they see it looking like as if it is that day.
Okay.
Here's some areas you can think about: your faith life, community, whatever that means for you, your family, friends, fitness and health, finances, your field, which is your career, and fun. And don't write anything out. And no matter what your life looks like right now, it doesn't matter. Write anything that is coming to your heart, coming off your head, whatever you want it to be. Because I do believe that this is, when you get in this quiet space, this is God in the universe talking to you like he was with me when I was 28, knowing what was coming in my life, which is why I know for sure the whole trajectory of me writing, I want to teach vision to other people, because God knew the plan.
That's right.
So
So
you got to get quiet. You got to write it out. And then what you can do once you've got the 3 years is you can reverse engineer it, Sandy, into 1 year goals, very
yes.
specific. 6 months, 90 days are crucial. Every 90 days I revisit,
Mhm.
right? So that I know every day very intentionally what I'm doing hour by hour, and it all lines up with my vision. And it's easy for me to say no to the things that don't. So I have a very clear calendar of only things that are moving forward, right?
Yes.
So those are
So beautifully said. Wow.
thank you. It's not my first rodeo, girl. I've done with this.
I
Done this with
apparently not,
thousands of
Carey.
people, thousands and thousands of people. Yes.
I love it, Carey, because not only knowing your why, but you said something there that I just want to emphasize, which is everything that you do is very intentional, and you have to have that focused intention with everything you're doing,
Right.
because it's so easy. I'm like one of these chasing shiny objects, like, oh, I'm gonna design a t-shirt. I could easily put everything aside and spend 2 days playing
Right.
around with a t-shirt logo, blah, 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 blah. I did
Yeah.
that a year ago. Have I launched a t-shirt brand? No, I haven't. I've got a logo. But
Yeah.
see, it's so easy to get distracted.
I know. Especially,
Right.
entrepreneurs, upside of entrepreneurs is that we're all creative, and the downside of entrepreneurs is that we're all creative. And
We all creative.
most of the women business owners that I've coached, Sandy, they've come to me with this exact thing, right?
Yeah.
I've got this idea, I've got this idea, I've got this idea. And as a coach, what I'm able to do is once they tell me the vision and we set some solid 1 year goals, I'm able to say to them, and lovingly, if I were your coach, I don't know your business plan or your trajectory, Sandy, but I would probably say to you, great idea. Let's table that for a little
Yep.
while, right? I told somebody yesterday, she said, I want to launch a journal. I'm like, girl, you don't even know, you're not monetizing your business yet. You can't, let's table the journal till yeah. So a good coach is somebody who knows your vision, knows the goals, and they keep you like right here. Let's,
Right.
yeah,
Yep.
staying right here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I ended up because my coach was like, okay, so I have my 30-day goals. I have my 1 year goals. So the t-shirt is in the 1 year goals, but they're not in the 30-day goals yet, right? Because I got to accomplish all this stuff first. And
Right.
then I can go to the 1 year. And I love the 3 year. And I've been doing that future cast letter. Like I've been writing a letter to myself, 1 year. I've been doing that for 20 years. I hadn't
Yes.
thought about it for 3 years. And I like that because I turned 58 in 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 years ago, it seemed like it was so far away. And now here we are.
Here we are.
And here we are. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've only got 2 years left in my 50s. You know,
Yeah.
I got to make the most of it. And so I really love that. And I'm going to try that too. I'm going to do that myself because I really feel like, especially as you get older, like it's easy to look a year ahead, but when you start looking 3 years down the road, sometimes for me, some people will say, oh, you need your 5 year goals. And I think that's important, but 5 years is almost too far for me. I like the 3 year. I think that's a
Yeah.
little bit of a sweeter spot.
I think so too. And organically, about every 3 years, we kind of see shifts coming,
Yeah.
especially when you're raising kids, right?
Yeah.
I turned 61 this year. So, and a lot has changed in the past 6 years of my life. As a year after my son passed, my daughter got married, settled here in Oklahoma, has 2 little boys now. And, here I am, a grandma, and I have to think 3 years out of, okay, what do I want to be doing?
Well, yeah,
What
grandkids, that changes everything.
everything. Yeah. I moved here because of all that. So yeah, it's good. We have to look ahead because like I said, it's coming and most of us don't. And when it sneaks up on us, we're standing here going, what just happened? And I'm not prepared. I wish I would have thought about my finances 3 years ago. Right.
Mhm.
So it's crucial at every stage of life.
Carey, I love this so much. What an amazing conversation. You're like one of these people that like, we're going to have to schedule another conversation in like 6 months or
Love it.
something. And let's do this again. Cause we could just talk for hours.
Yep.
So how can people find you and talk about how they can get the free gift and
Sure.
everything?
So I have a website. It's just careyconley.com. My podcast is called Moving Through and Beyond, and it's on all the platforms, doing really well on YouTube. But But the gift that I have is my first book that I launched is called Vision is Victory. And it's literally a workbook to help people sit down and write this vision. So if they text the word victory, all in caps, to 26786, 26786, victory, all in caps, they'll get that book downloaded for free. And they will also land in my email. So they'll get my weekly newsletter knowing what else I'm doing and what I'm launching, and, more of my story. Yeah.
Good, victory, right?
Yes.
Victory. All right. I just sent a text to that. Victory to 26786.
Correct.
Again, that's 26786. Text the word victory, and I will make sure that is in the show notes as well. I use Mobex Pro too.
Love it.
Love it.
Love it.
Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, Carey, thank you so much. I got it there. See how easy that is? Here is a copy of your Vision Victory. Awesome. I've got it right here on my phone. I can't wait to take a look at that. And I hope all the listeners do as well. So Carey, thank you so much. You're awesome. So glad we got connected.
I appreciate you letting me come on and share my story and spread the hope.
Absolutely. Carey, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody listening today. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. And as promised, I'd like to give you more details of what you can expect as a member of the Happiness Solved exclusive community. First, you'll have access to a treasure trove of extra podcast episodes. These episodes dive deeper into the topics we discuss, featuring additional expert interviews only found here. But that's not all. As a member, you'll also get access to a series of mindset training sessions. These recordings are tailored to help you understand the how and why your mindset is the most important asset you have, empowering you to achieve your personal and professional goals. And for those of you looking to find a moment of peace in your busy lives, we've got something special. Exclusive guided meditations. These sessions are crafted to help you relax, refocus, and recharge. Whether you're a meditation guru or just starting out, there's something here for everyone. Becoming a member is more than just accessing extra content. It's about joining a community of like-minded individuals, all on a journey to live life to its fullest and become the best possible version of you. So how can you join? It's simple. Go to happinesssolved.supercast.com and sign up. Don't miss out on this opportunity to deepen your journey with us. Again, that's happinesssolved.supercast.com. And it will also be in the show notes. I am so grateful you're a part of our Happiness Solved family, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your continued support. Again, I am so grateful for you, and I hope that you and your family are healthy and safe, and that your lives are filled with peace, joy, and happiness. Take care, everyone.